Okay, so hi guys, it's Jinmei, and I know I've been gone for like a couple of weeks now. I think it's been like 2 weeks or so since Tekken released, and actually I have yet to edit like the story stuff that I reacted to. I will put that up down the line, but I think like there's just so much that happened, and I got super absorbed with the game, especially exploring this new Devil Jin that it's basically just got me hooked with the game, and I pour out almost all my free time for him. But yeah, okay, so I just want to finally put maybe some thoughts and reviews overall of DVJ and Tekken 8, and that includes even the lore side, and later to talking about his gameplay and balancing and other things. So I actually have this like I have a guide here so that I don't like rant for the next 30 minutes. I'm just kidding with the rant. But for story mode stuff, I'll make it quick. I am very pleased. It's a very much very Jin and Double Jin fan service. Like finally, after really asking for it, and I really love it. Like from chapter 12 onwards, it's been a blast. Especially they finally gave my boy screen time with with Jin, and it's just cool just to see him like talk to him. They converse, and I love all the fan service with the boss fight, and I called it since day one. And then they pulled out the like the Tekken 5 theme, and then they like for his boss fight. On like and then they also pulled out like the Tekken 6 Jin boss fight music, and then they did Snow Castle and like the final fight, and then the way it pans, like you're using DBJ and stuff. I'm like, dude. And then I love that there's this plot twist that DBJ's always been a misunderstood good boy. That he was the nicest Mishima all along, right? It is funny because I was memeing about this that technically Double has done really nothing wrong in canon. I know usually his endings make him do chaotic stuff, but it's like very casual. Like that's non-canon. So, but it's funny that they actually pull that out, and then it was giving me the hopium. I'm actually a huge Angel fan, so when they were kind of doing the thing, and then that he also has like the white wing, dude, I want to play with DVJ like that, just like for aesthetic reasons. Heck yeah, man. And then yes, eventually they did the thing. They did the thing where I said maybe the Angel side is like connected to Kazuma's. I know it's like a fan theory, but it's crazy that they actually went for it, and Angel Jin is now a thing. Can I actually have a toned down playable version of this? And then yes, and then eventually escalates to an amazing, very Dragon Ball fight, like, planetary. They go to the meteor, it goes crazy. It's like the Blood Vengeance fight between Jin and Kaz, except it was actually done better, especially with the more revamped, still over the top, very Final Fantasy-esque, super forms. But hey, I mean, I love it. I don't care. It's like it's my dumb fun, It's my dumb fun, and I love it. And then, of course, it goes back to also call back for Jin. They literally gave him all his T3 stuff and his T4 stuff, and then like he did a Kazuma thing. It's just so surreal that they smacked all of this, and then we're just like, dude, it's amazing. They played like Jin's theme and everything, to really put like a love letter to anybody who's such a lore nerd, and to Jin and Double Jin fans. We're like, bro, no one's been disappointed. Honestly, it's been a blast. It's amazing. I think the only hopium that's just kind of sad to me is that they technically lost their double forms, and in the gameplay sense, I'm really like I don't mind it in the lore sense. That goodbye, it's a nice love letter to Kazuya and like Jin and Double Jin, right? So it's like a nice resolution and progress for both their characters, and I'm glad they didn't kill off Kaz, thank goodness, because I don't want to repeat of Heihachi. They can actually still go stuff with Kaz, especially the way they ended with June looking at him. So we'll see. But yeah. As to if DBJ is gonna be playable still as a character, like basically in the moveset, right? Because they took out this game to revamp him a lot, and he's been really fun. We'll talk about it. It's kind of a bummer if they'll just throw it out. And then also, I also enjoy New Jin as well. I'm gonna get to him one day, and like more advanced. So I'm just going to copium and say they don't really need to make like Angel Jin or DVJ like canon in the next game. Like I mean, to be fair, in Tekken 6 he wasn't canon. He never even really came out, and yet he's a playable character. So it goes with Tag 2. T5 he only came out once canonically or twice. Yeah, to blow up a forest and he beat up Warong, but that was like you barely even saw it, and his whole campaign was non-canon. So they could just pull that out, except instead of its Double Gen, it's just Angel Jin, but toned down, just give him white wings instead. You could not slap the horns anymore, but hey, whatever. I want to just believe Hopium that the Angel side can still be pulled off his butt, you know, because it's the Kazuma side and not his Devil Gene side anymore. And also, seriously, it's it was really adorable to see Jin and DBJ actually, like, Jin actually apologized to him. And that DBJ was actually such a nice boy. I, I got soft, man. I got soft. Like like I'm not usually emotional, and that was very cheesy. But it was the most adorable thing ever. I won't deny, dude. Like, edgy boy over here is the nice boy. He's a nice boy. Anyway, you know, gameplay and balancing. Okay, as for my initial thoughts, definitely he's so fun. Yes, he's top tier, and he's becoming quite a menace online. We'll get to that soon, but just in terms of the pure funness of this character, they did an amazing job because it really now fits his own character. He's really savage, the animations really hit hard. He hits hard literally, and then like everything like just oozes personality with him now, and they really gave what I wanted, which to be fair, we can show, like, you know, you can even just do simple stuff like this, right? Like, you know, I'm sure everyone saw this combo that, you know, the popular like YouTubers do with him, especially like, you know, Mayman. Like just doing, oh, I think I forgot the laser, my bad. Like this one, right? So just seeing this visually speaking, right? And yes, I know that's like a truck at 78, so easy, I know. But for me, it means a lot that this is really cool, that they're allowing you to do this already. You can do so much other routes, to be fair, but it always includes this and some of like, you know, this one, right? So it's amazing. And the mere fact I can even use the upward laser to actually optimize and give damage to my combos, and it's encouraged, is amazing, honestly. So I have no complaints about that one at all. And that oozes with all of his moves, especially in heat. Like, you know, he flies all over the place. Like, you know, he does more lasers like that, right? So you see these things, and you know, he also does this, right? So a lot of these, like, amazing. Honestly, just from a visual perspective. Of course, in usage, they're also really good. That's the thing, because I think that's one of his main problems before, where all the laser was just like a gimmick. This one is just really in combo, unless you just wanted to taunt somebody for the lulz. And then of course, like, you know, like the ground laser is just for OP, so it's nothing much. Like, you don't really get to use that. And of course, his flying shenanigans were very limited to like a gimmick, and then you'll only see it when people do a hard, like, you know, a YOLO U4 or a hard read U4, right? Like, that's the only time you would ever see him fly. So outside of that, like, you know, outside of just killing yourself for the most part, you won't really see much DVJ, because usually in the higher levels of play, if you want to play more efficiently, compact, and exact high level, it really only came down to, you know, a jab, some scraper, your DF1, your DF4, some stuff like that, a time tail sweep, right? You would just kind of go down, and then you do Wraith Kick, definitely, and of course FF2. But this is because, and of course, your traditional God Fist. But that's only because it came back to the part that he's supposed to fill in Tekken 3 Jin, which is a legacy kit. So that so he kind of was stuck with this, and he had to, like, you know, deal with it, like, you know. But now, like, they changed stuff with him, that not only does this knock down really far now, also this, it's technically a nerf though, but it has its use, we'll talk about. It's really to encourage the new stuff with his crow like this, right? The crow. So there are multiple ways to go into this, and I think everyone already knows, like, for the most part. So yeah, his crow stance is very cool and unique, but I think a lot of people still have quite a difficult time dealing with it, mostly because it's new and nobody's really seen it, right? So which is fine. It's a knowledge check. It's basically a knowledge check. Every time, like, for the most part, Devil Jones will always do this, and definitely M21 sounds amazing, and it still is, by the way. Even with the nerfs, I'll tell you right now, even with all the damage reduction nerf, because this went from 25 down to 20, and then chip damage went from 10 to 6. It's actually huge, but it's still amazing. And they tried to lessen the track, because technically, actually, you're supposed to step it. You can actually walk it. So, because, like, the Devil Gens are supposed to read you if you actually know and you're stepping it, or jabbing it, actually. So the counter to that is that we will use this, but as you can tell, it's negative 14. The other safer option is this, the 3. It's also quite the homing, and I think it's pretty much homing because of the AoE that it has. I call it AoE. But I think the flaw for this option and 1 is that he could get jabbed out of it as long as you block the chain, right? Anyway, I'll talk about like countering typical DVJ habits like after this video, since this is just a review of my thoughts about him. But anyway, okay, next we'll talk about like the Hell Sweep nerf. Yeah, to be fair, when I first saw this, I think now it just launches. Give me a moment. 2.5? Yep. Okay, so you can tell from my meter, right? Like, it can still launch. This is still far. Because back in T7, we have to be this close to get the launch. You know, because they nerfed it come from Season 1. So, yeah, and then if I wanted a tip range shell sweep, I would use CD44. But now, that in T8, when I saw this, that, you know, it launched, okay, originally it launched from range 3, by the way. They slightly nerfed it down to 2.5, but the mere fact that I saw that it not only launched from range 3, but it was an NC, you know, launching Hell Sweep, and then it did over like 53 damage, right? Because this is a staple. This is staple, right? This is the staple that used to do like 53 damage, no heat. And then I think if I even just do like a typical heat, oh my bad. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Wow. Guys, I swear I did this. Okay. So right, even if you're doing this typical like heat combo, right? It's still 60. This used to do 68. So okay, imagine this if you had a floor break, a wall something, whatever, man. Any explosive like environment, the wall, the floor, yeah, balcony, whatever. That's gonna go up, right? And I think some like way better Double Gen players that know how to optimize the stages will rack it up until like 70 even. So it's really crazy from a range 3 non-sealable low. So yeah, the first time I saw that, I was like saying, yeah, I know people are really gonna not have a great time with this, and I was correct because this thing reaches a mile. And I think the other issue that people don't seem to realize about this as well, I'm really surprised this is how ridiculous this thing is, actually. This version of Hell Sweep's really crazy. But for example, they don't wake up. If you don't want to wake up, right? Am I my bad? For example, the person doesn't want to wake up like this. If the Double Gen player goes in and then like predicts, and as long as the first hit hits and they continue it, this is going to hit like that. So you're still eating damage, right? So, but if you wake up wrong, you can go die with this Hell Sweep loop again, right? You could die from it. So let's say I just knock you down normally, right? And then you're like this. So yeah, and then you don't, you know, stand up. That's free damage again for him. It's kind of crazy. So he's forcing you to always stand up regardless, because yes, of course he has Steel Pedal, but who cares about Steel Pedal, right? When you can just do this again. Oh, you get my point? Like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. I'm just surprised. Thankfully they didn't do this for CD1+2. Although CD1+2 is also quite a menace, but at least it won't respawn you. But yes, it will still hit you there, definitely. But at least it's only in heat. But this thing is literally accessible regardless. So yeah. It emphasizes more, actually, I would say, that if you have a good backdash already, like, Double Gen players would want that, because we've always been about, like, you know, with punishing, he's a Mishima, so you still want space to, you know, get your whips, get your, you know, punishment in. But I think now, definitely, in this game, you want that even more, because he likes playing around this range, you know? Like, he loves this range. So what you actually don't want with him, he's semi, like, Noctis now, you don't want to be this close. Because they basically they nerfed, you know, the one, the F1 is not great anymore, right? This thing is so stubby. I'm gonna tell you all, he can U4 his own DF1. Never happened in T7. It's worse in every aspect, honestly. Like the only accidental good thing right now is that people just get thrown off that that's his new DF1, honestly. People think this is his DF2. Like, it's that weird. But yes, that's his new DF1. Get used to it, right? Generics, definitely he is nerfed, and I think it's gonna backbite him down the line as we like get much more into this game and more people know how to counter him. Because at the moment he's running crazily because people just don't understand how to counter his crow stuff and the torpedo. The torpedo is very infamous. When I mean torpedo, I meant you know this thing. But we'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, my point here is like you could really get people to duck as long as you have the right read, right conditioning, and this was way too overtuned already, considering he has way better mids, especially during heat. And they really want you to play with his heat and with range. So I think like, so that, the Deviljins, we don't get stressed every time to try to bang God Fist for whiffs. They gave us this one, which I called it. It has its uses, it's been amazing, I've been using it myself, but I kinda half-half, but there are times you still have to call and still go for God Fist, right? Because overall this is still safe. This is really not great on the whiff. It's got amazing range, don't get me wrong, but this is so miserable on yeah, on a whiff. Trust me. But I just feel right now it feels super free because nobody punishes anybody for anything. But he actually kind of kills himself on a lot of situations that I've seen nobody punish me for when I get blocked or punished. So I can go about that. Yeah, people probably gonna have a hard time with this every time I know, because this is probably the thing everyone sees, especially from this, right? Everyone is gonna see it, especially from the torpedo. Like, because every time in rank, every double gen is just this. I can end this video and it's like, oh, what do I think of the EVJ and right now? Not kidding. Oh yeah, it hits a mile away, of course. Like, they twitch one little second. Yeah, I don't know what range was this. Okay, let's try to find like the tip range for this, right? So I'm over here at range 5. Okay, so it's range 5. I told you it's all range 5, right? I know my character. No, let's see. No, I'm also more a bit curious. For science, guys, for science. This game cannot go in. So yeah, Deviljin obviously more range boy. Oh, okay, kind of whiffed a bit there, but I would still give it range 5 because people are moving. And if they extend their hitbox, that's gonna clip. I swear. They whiff a jab from that mile, it's gonna clip. It's gonna magnet, then they're screwed. Anyway, yeah, for MC1, we'll talk about the Crow, but the nerf was also very much deserved, and it's supposed to be countered by sidewalking, actually, guys, and it is supposed to be linear. So we're gonna talk about how to counter the Crow down the line as well. But, okay, as for his playstyle, he's pretty much range boy. You don't, number one rule with DVJ, you don't want to be back at the wall and getting smothered by pressure of the other guy at range 0. It's a miserable time, and you really have to, it'll be a test of patience and defense. To be fair, he's an overall more defensive character since Tekken 7, since he was never about big frame data, because the impressive Mishima was Heihachi. So that's the same for him, and even Kazuya. You kind of have to turtle a lot and know when to insert his little pokes and nail the 1-1-2, especially he knocks people away, as in really far this time with 1-1-2, because they want you to use the Crow fly in after Oki for an Oki situation, and it's the mind game start there, and he starts doing his momentum, right? That, or just use a time F2, and there are times even we would use the old school DF2, but now since they changed that, you have to find ways. And then if the Deviljins are a bit more desperate, you have your U4s, you have your back 3, you have your down 1, you have the armor, right? But do know that all of, like this one and this especially are literally death on block on, right? If anybody can see the frame data, yeah, you could just launch me for free. And if you don't launch me, that's kind of on you, you know? But yeah, those are like his escape tools, but to be fair, the dive kick is not a great time at the wall, obviously, because you would get clipped first more than anything. And U4, you just eventually hope and pray you crush your jab, some bad mid hitbox, or a low, right? So, yeah. So that's how he's kind of supposed to be played. He likes his space, he wants some room. And the con side is that he hates range 0 and getting smothered at the wall, honestly, because the Deviljin doesn't really have much to escape anymore. Especially if you know what you're doing with your frames of your specific character choice. He can do this to himself too, to be honest. So it's like, yeah, you're kind of dead unless you're so good at finding an opening, which is really takes a lot of defending and knowledge, actually matchup knowledge. right? Because that's where you start utilizing, trying to sidestep guard, blocking a bit, trying to, do the back to fundamentals like, jab checking, interrupt, doing that, putting in the minimal stuff, and then to be fair, down four is a bit risky now because it's negative 15. But you eventually have to risk it, right? Because it's better than killing yourself for this and forcefully doing big moves, which is really not really advice. But yeah, that's mostly kind of how he's played, and so far it's been a fine adjusting, really. But overall, that was just like a really fun character. I didn't want to make this very quick review of him very long since I talked about every side of him, but I really enjoy and I love him, and it's great to see quite like he's getting popular and catching a lot of people's eye and a lot of people just having fun. On top of that, yes, him being top tier it helps because it's still part of like the appeal of characters, if they're strong, they're rewarding. It's the same with like Reina, Victor, June, like stuff like that. I get, they really want to like really sell these characters, and there's nothing really wrong because a lot of the characters and even the cast are really strong in this game. And yeah, as for what they did in the story again, just also call back to that. 10 out of 10. Honestly, I was not disappointed. I guess there's only one slight thing that I wanted is that I wish his scenes was longer, but definitely just seeing him and Jin like, really talk it out is just amazing to me. And anyway, overall, it's been really a blast playing like the Double Jin and stuff and really testing. Oh, you guys want me to sum up like Double Jin mates right now in a nutshell? Okay, I won't say anything. There you go, guys. So this is DVJ mates in a nutshell right now. What do you mean? If you guys want to like follow me on my socials again, I tend to post more and Raijin May 1 over at X or Twitter. And thank you again for all the subs. We're almost actually at 600 subscribers, and you guys are awesome. I apologize if I'm not very consistent with the content, but I'm glad if you guys enjoy all the content and give me amazing feedback. And if you guys have some video ideas or questions, you can leave it down in the comments below. And I've been labbing like DVJ specifically, try and get it, like his matchup. Ironically, they don't give me any Deviljins in ranked, so I can't show much. So yeah. Anyway, thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.